Hey, dig it, Captain. I'm gonna run something for you. You listen, okay? Now, I got licenses to drive cabs, transport diamonds, 10 bar, you name it, I've got it. I also have a private detective's license, which not only allows me to carry a gun if I want to, but it lets me into the law library anytime, and I go, man. And what I read tells me that you either charge me or I walk out that door.
Hi everyone, I'm Dom Griffin, I'm a film critic, and you're watching the Armchair Auteur. This is an ongoing video series I do where we talk about new movies, old movies, screenplay analysis, that sort of thing. So if you like movies and film culture and you like to see people pick it apart, please consider subscribing. Today is going to be a new installment of my ongoing series, Dark Gable Presents, where I try to highlight unsung, underrated, unseen black films. Not always unseen, but just movies I think are really cool that maybe people haven't seen or haven't heard of. Today I'm going to be talking about the film Trouble Man from director Ivan Dixon. So Ivan Dixon directed one of my absolute favorite movies of all time, which is The Spook Who Sat by the Door, which came out in 1973. I saw it for the first time a few years ago and I fell immediately in love with it. Like, it's just such an incendiary, powerful movie. Like, it's so good. And at the time I saw it, I thought it was kind of a bummer that like Dixon didn't have more movies that I could really see. I mean, he was like an actor primarily and also an activist, but he only directed a handful of movies. And one of them was his first movie, which he did a year before Spook Who Sat by the Door, and it's called Trouble Man. For anyone who has never seen it, Trouble Man follows Robert Hooks as Mr. T. No, not that one. A jack-of-all-trades point man in South Central Los Angeles. T owns a pool hall, is licensed as a private eye, among other things, and is essentially a fixer for those who can afford his services. For neighborhood folk, he rights wrongs and helps the less fortunate at a discount, but for everyone else, he'll solve any problem for the right price. When we meet T, he's hired by a pair of crooks played by Paul Winfield and Ralph Waite, a duo who run dice games on the black and white sides of town, splitting their profits. Someone's been hitting their dice games and they want T to find them out before they scare business away for good. But unbeknownst to T, these guys are setting him up for murder so they can use that to take over their rival's territory. So T has to spend the movie finding out the real score, caught between crime kingpin Big and the cops who think he murdered one of Big's henchmen.
I'm licensed to carry.
No need to search him, Tim. If T says he's got no gun, he's got no gun.
One of the things about blaxploitation as a genre is that it produced so few genuine classics before becoming watered down and defanged, reduced to complete parody. All films in the genre exist on a sliding scale between the original film of the form, Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, and later goofy-ass throwaways like, Black Shampoo. Trouble Man, even more so than the original Shaft or maybe Superfly, both classics that hew a little closer to the noir side of things, feels of a kinship with Sweetback, because it's such a tough, take-no-bullshit flick that has the socio-economic reality of the era ingrained within its core. Before T takes on the main plot's gig, we see him agree to bail out a neighborhood ne'er-do-well. Not for the convict himself, who T doesn't remotely believe in, but for the man's uncle, who T knows is just trying to help out blood. He also finds out about a dilapidated tenement where a young girl was injured due to the building's failing structure and wound up in the hospital. So what does T do while driving around being pitched on the whole solve the dice game robbery deal? He drops by the property management office and threatens the goon in charge until he agrees to fix up the building and pay for the little girl's hospital fees. Less than an hour later, the guys at the hospital apologizing profusely for his gross negligence.
I wish you'd have punched him one.
Yeah, well, you do it, baby. You with him.
Now, some of the best blaxploitation protagonists are pure wish fulfillment. Shaft, the idea of a cop who has to go on the outside of the force to enact true justice as a private eye. Superfly, a super criminal who succeeds well enough he thinks he can leave crime behind and retire. And here, T represents the kind of no-frills button man who lives by a code and handles shit, regardless of the situation. Like, a lot of black actors got to portray some fun roles throughout this short-lived era, but I don't think Robert Hooks gets nearly the kind of love Ron O'Neal or William Marshall routinely receive. He's such an unflappable presence on screen, cool and collected and utterly allergic to bullshit. Movies about badass dudes in suits navigating a complex web of deceit sometimes fall into kind of a competency porn, because who doesn't like watching someone proficient at a job execute it to the best of their ability? But T feels less like a technician and more a force of nature, something primordial in his eyes as he cuts through every obstacle in his path. There's a little of Lee Marvin's Walker from 1967's Point Blank in Hook's performance as T, only instead of a slow-stalking golem of pure revenge and debt, he's a hip cat making right in the world things we only wish we could fix with a cold stare and a firm word.
You know he's good.
You know what I mean?
He ain't got no code.
Then he's not good, Jim.
Trouble Man is one of the few blaxploitation movies that I consider to be an absolute unassailable classic. Not like a movie that's cool, except for the fact that it has all these problems. I mean, it on its own just fully holds up, and it completely exceeds the quality of some of the films in the same subgenre that other people I think tend to rate even higher. I think it's killer. Trouble is not currently available on any of the major streaming services that I could find. However, I do implore you to seek this film out. I think if this sounds like something you'd be into, you'd definitely be into it. It's fantastic. The performances are cool. The actual plot is actually like good and like gets you to like have some twists and turns and stuff, which not a lot of even very good blaxploitation movies are always particularly good at pulling off. So like it's special. It's really something. Also, it has an incredible score by Marvin Gaye. Like some of the best on-screen music in like movie history. Like that entire album is just amazing. I'd play some of it, but like, you know, copyright stuff. But seriously, even if you don't see the movie, just fire up Apple Music, Spotify, whatever, listen to the Trouble Man soundtrack. It rules. So that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the little bell icon to get notifications when I put out new videos. And if you have anything to say about this movie or the blaxploitation genre in general, or I don't know, recommendations for black films you think I should cover on the series in the future, please do so below in the comments. Hope everyone's staying safe, being good to yourselves and each other, wearing your masks, all that stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one.